Episode one.
What's up, Vin? Happy September. Happy football season. Our baseball team's doing great. Good morning.
Good morning, and
Oh, man. Woo! Had to start out like that this morning.
That's good. Good stuff. KKFI. How are you, Kansas City?
What's up, Casey?
Podcast.com. Go buy yourself something. I don't know. Shirt, magnet, a coaster.
We're going to get our hats on there.
Hats. Eventually hats.
All
fun stuff. So, Mike, Sunday morning. I don't know if we've ever done a Sunday morning show. I'm not sure. We might have.
I like this. You know what? A little NFL preview for week 3. And by the way, somehow we're 5-2 so far. We got destroyed by the Cowboys last week.
So we're 5-2 overall?
We're 5-2. We remember week 1 we went undefeated, 3-0. Okay. And then we went 2-2 last week, and then we'll lock in some picks for this week a little later in the show. But hey, for the first couple weeks, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
I'll take it. 5-2. I know, like most people, like to hover around 500, so we're a little bit above. So
yeah, both of our teams had big wins the Jets this week and then the Raiders. Wow, last week that was something else.
That was probably one of their best wins in years. So makes for a feel good Sunday. Now we're home against the Panthers. I mean, all I will say, Mike, is if we lose that game, I am not talking about this team the rest of the year. Okay, that's it.
Well, I'll tell you about that later. That's in the Mike's best bets.
Okay. Well,
I hope I don't jinx it.
Oh my God, I'm not even going down that road. But
okay.
Like you said, when we first came on, our baseball teams are on fire.
Yeah, let's start with the Mets because Matt Carl will like this.
Okay.
Start the show. Being the Phillies the other day, what a game! They show that they could compete with them, right? And without Lindor, they've had so many different sparks. This team's really stepped it up. This is a team at one time that was 10 games under 500. Now they're how many games over 5? Like 7. What are they now?
I don't know what they're pretty. I think they're more than 7 games over.
Now they're 86 and 6. Yeah, 17 games over 500.
Yeah. So they have exactly what you want. Destiny is in their own hands. All they have to do is win. They don't have to worry about anybody else but themselves. So the Yankees are in the same spot. So both teams, all they got to do in this next six, I think it's 6 or 7 games they got left. All they got to do is win. And they'll both be there for October baseball.
The best. We always talk about this time.
The Yankees already clinched, but I'd like to see them, of course, win the division and try to clinch the 1 seed and all that fun stuff. But the Mets, Matt should be on cloud 9. All the Met fans that we know should be on cloud 9. This is, an improbable year. I was talking to my brother last night, and he said Mendoza has to be the NL Manager of the Year. Like, there's nobody else that deserves that. And he's 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something I was really impressed about with the Mets, Vinny, was Alvarez with his power. And just what this team has done without Lindor, filling in those spots, the confidence. They're fun to watch. They are a fun team to watch.
I like watching Acuna's brothers up now because Lindor's hurt and he's playing short. He looks like he's the real deal. The other kid, Iglesias, he's been playing unbelievable. So getting really solid pitching. I mean, that's what it takes to win, right? Solid pitching and timely hitting. So we'll see if it continues. I hope it does.
And how about our Yankees? That stat that you sent me, 40 for 40 club. Soto, Judge, first time since Maris.
And Mantle, yep.
I mean, in that elite club, that just shows you what kind of season this team has had.
Yeah. I mean, Judge hit 54 last night. Soto has 40. Can they hit 6 home runs combined over the next 7 games to get 100 combined? Which I think, outside of the steroids, I think only Ruth and Garrick and Mantle and Maris.
It's crazy.
So they could join the other elite Yankee greats. And, Judge, historic season, historic player. And then, way out west, you got Shohei Ohtani, 50-50.
Yeah, that was exciting.
I mean, we have 2 of maybe the most historic baseball players in maybe the history of baseball we could see over the next 5 years here. I mean, the way Judge and Ohtani are playing, it's just like, wow.
I know.
It's amazing because Soto's so good, and he's like the 3rd best player in baseball.
Isn't that crazy? Just the fact, I don't know. It's just crazy.
There's guys that have unbelievable stats out there. I was looking at it. Marcell Ozuna, Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt Jr., Jared Duran, and nobody's talking about any of them. All they talk about is Judge and Ohtani. That's it.
That's it.
Baseball would be very, very happy come October if the Yankees and Dodgers are playing in the World Series. The 2 biggest stars on the biggest stage. It would definitely be very, very big for baseball, especially the 2 largest cap market teams, the whole thing, right? But as we know, they have to play the games, and baseball finds its way of, having the Rangers play the Diamondbacks in the World Series. But it is a football Sunday, Mike. We gave a little homage there to baseball because, we have to. But give me some of your feelings about what you saw on Thursday night.
Yeah, so going into that game, we beat the Titans, but we knew this was our home opener, and this is Rodgers' homecoming. And I felt cautious as a Jets fan, always, Vinny, cautiously optimistic. But I know since we've talked about in preseason and just this team in general that they've built up an outstanding core, and that really showed on Thursday night. You got great rushing by Braylon Allen, who's done a fantastic job, right? Yeah. Obviously, you have your Breece Hall, right? But Braylon Allen is a great compliment to Breece Hall. We saw that. Then on the receiving end, we had Tyler Conklin, Alan Lazard. I want to mention Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard had struggled last couple seasons. He's been phenomenal, so has good chemistry with Rodgers. And Mike Williams and, of course, Garrett Wilson. But a couple takeaways from the game. I found that Aaron Rodgers, what was frustrating about the Jets' offense the last couple games was the run-pass situation and not throwing it on first down. And even when they were running, they weren't getting huge yardage. And you notice they were converting a lot of third down, which was very difficult for them last year. And Aaron Rodgers' accuracy was unbelievable. So instead of having like 3rd and longs, you were having like 3rd, 4, and 5, and it was manageable. And hitting his targets and being so accurate. You saw a little bit of everything that game. Defense was phenomenal. Patriots didn't even score a touchdown. It was great. Overall, their offense was 400 yards, which was incredible, right? But my takeaway from it is it's one game. Very excited that they did that, obviously. But we got to keep playing like this. We got to keep the momentum. We got the Broncos coming up next week, followed by the Vikings, and then a big AFC game against the Bills. So, but what I will say is, going back to the Tennessee game, even without Aaron Rodgers in the helm, we would have won that game. He brings so much to the table. One more thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if you saw this, Vinny, that when there was a lot of talk about it, when they were up 7-0, the interactions with Saleh and Rodgers basically said, let's wait till 2-score game. Like, he didn't want Saleh to get too excited, right? It was all about keeping composure and just getting things done. I think that's what Aaron Rodgers brings to the culture. So everything aligned great. We had receiving, we had rushing, we just had very smart football. And as a Jets fan, I couldn't be happier. But at the same time, it's one game. You got to keep going. You can't get too high on this, but it was a really good thing to see.
Yeah, you got to be happy that they beat New England, right? Always
Right.
the thorn in your side. So you got to be happy with that. We know it's not a good New England team. It's no longer a Brady Belichick kind of team, but it's still New England, still a division rival. So you got to feel good about that. And you hit the nail on the head. I think with Rodgers, that winning culture, winning attitude. He's won a lot of games. He hasn't won a lot of big games, right? He's only been into one Super Bowl and that, but he's got a winning approach, and that's what you hope for. And I like the way he was moving. He looked like he's 39 years old. He didn't look 39. He didn't look like someone coming off a major Achilles injury. He looked very smooth, very sharp, like you said, converting a lot of first downs, really getting the ball to Breece Hall, not only, of course, handing him off, but a lot in the passing game. Breece Hall is definitely, where the offense is centered around. Good observation that, Allen is giving him, those snaps off for maybe every third series, and he's been highly productive. Conklin finally came through, which we know history shows you that Aaron Rodgers likes tight ends, likes to get the ball into the tight end. So that was nice to see. Garrett Wilson they're still working on that full chemistry, but I think it's starting to get there. Him and Lazard have a really good chemistry, But I thought, seeing that pass rush, hitting the quarterbacks, the last drive of the game, I think they sacked Drake May 3 times when he came in, at the end. So they really still had the pedal down. Really were really, I think they were really looking to keep New England out of the end zone, right? I thought that was important for them on that last drive. I think that was something they were really trying to do. That's why they kept that engine running. That's why you saw Sauce Gardner still on the field at that point. I think they really wanted to not let them score a touchdown. I think that was a good mental thing for them. But like you said, they're 2-1. It's early, but it's a good 2-1, right? It's better than being 0-3. It's better than being 1-2. This was a team maybe last year without Rodgers in that kind of game might have lost 6-3, right? And we saw that happen probably too many times with Zach Wilson, and I think those days are over. You got to keep Rodgers healthy. I think the offensive line has done a really good job. And, you're in a pretty decent part of your schedule. And that Buffalo game, I think in about 3 weeks, is
huge.
Potentially could be a early season big game, right? It'll be their 5th or 6th game, 6th game of the season, right? So, just think if they're both teams are 4-1 or 5-0 or 4-1, 3-2, whatever you want to look at it, you expect both teams to have winning records, colliding in week 6 early in the season. So a lot of excitement in October. We're going to have baseball. You're going to have the Jets. You're going to have your Knicks coming back. Everything's getting exciting.
I cannot wait till you say, Mike, how are your New York Knicks?
Right. We're getting close to that. So, but with all that being said, the New York Giants, I think, are struggling. I heard yesterday that teams were reaching out to the Panthers for Bryce Young. I wonder if the Giants were one of those teams that were reaching out. That would be interesting, if that's the way, what they're looking at. I was trying to figure out what teams could potentially even look for Bryce Young. I would think the Dolphins maybe, because Tua's situation is way up in the air. The Giants. Maybe some other teams out there that not off the top of my head, maybe just looking to fill in the blanks. But the Giants, they're going to have to do something with this team very quickly, because they're going to lose the locker room more than anything. And then at that point, Dable and Joe Sheen could be another group of coach GMs that are out the door here, in year 3. The others were year 2, but they got to figure something out. I think Malik Neighbors to me really looks like he's going to be a real number 1 receiver. So I think there's some positive there, but they're just going to have to figure out a way to get Daniel Jones to be more efficient. I don't know what your take is on what you've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think last game, Daniel Jones was a little bit better. Obviously, they had that huge, that's why they were going for 2-point conversions because of their kicker. But, I mean, we knew that I felt the game was going to be close with the Commanders, but the Giants are just they're struggling on all ends. I feel like there's no chemistry right now. It was an ugly win for the Commanders, but it was still a win. Obviously, Jaden Daniels needs more help, I think, in the pass and run game. But the Giants, to me, they got to get the ball to Malik Neighbors more. They really have to do that. I think that he has so much opportunity. They haven't really gotten in his hands as much as they want to. But there's a lot of holes right now in the rushing and the passing game, and just Jones' confidence, obviously, which again I thought was a little better. But you got to do. They're playing the Browns today, and I don't know what's going to happen. I just feel like there are a lot of holes. But what else did I want to say about that? He did throw a pair of touchdown passes, Jones, but it wasn't really looked at because they missed the 2-point conversions.
Over and over.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I don't know. I just feel they don't have a lot of weapons. I mean, what can I say? We knew this before the beginning of the season. A lot of people picked the Giants to win. They would be lucky 5 games, so it's not surprising. But again, we'll see where the improvement is the next couple games.
I still don't understand, and I don't know, maybe it's me. I don't understand why the punter or vice versa, the kicker, can't be the backup for the other guy. Graham Gano gets hurt on that first kickoff, so they lose him for the game. Why can't the punter kick extra points? Or why can't he at least practice it? During practice. What is a kicker and punter doing during practice during the week? Right? They're kicking. So why can't they switch and practice the other guy's thing just in case?
It's very logical, and it makes sense.
I don't understand. People were going crazy that Gano was hurt, leading into that game. But he pulled his hamstring running, on the kickoff. His injury was the groin during practice that week. So they're not really related. But again, I think I said it last year a few times when kickers and punters got hurt, and why can't the other guy do it? I just don't understand. They're professionals. I would think they could do at least something. There's got to be somebody on the Giants that was a kicker in high school. Somebody.
Yeah. Just give them a try.
Right, somebody. Somebody's got to go up to Dable and goes, listen, I used to make 40-yard field goals in high school. I think I got a shot here to make the extra point.
Get Gronk out of retirement.
That's right. Why left? Good old FanDuel Gronk. All right, Mike. Let's do it here. Ready?
Yes. I want you to begin. You go first today. I'm going to give you the honor, my friend.
All right. I'll give you – I got 3.
Okay.
I'm going to give all 3, but I'm going to do them in the order that I'm most confident in. All right?
Okay.
All right. So I'm most confident in Steelers -3 at home against the Chargers. Now, I know Herbert just got cleared. He is active for the game, but I don't know how good he's going to be. This is a Pittsburgh team that we know always comes prepared to play defense. They're home. This is a Los Angeles team that has to travel to Pittsburgh. They got a quarterback playing or not playing that's not 100%. A team that I think is going to struggle in Pittsburgh. I thought 3 was a low number when I saw it. I thought, there was more like a 5 or 6 kind of spread. So I like the Steelers -3.
Okay, that's your first. Now I'll go. I think you'll like this for better or for worse. I got to take the the Raiders, and now I got it in at -5.5 over the Panthers, which very well could be the worst team in the league. This team has a lot of problems, as we know. The offense has been dismal, the defense has been dismal, and the Raiders beat the Ravens last week. So to me, that's definitely a confidence boost. We've seen a lot of good things in the rookie tight end, Brock Bowers. He set himself up nicely with Minshew, and I just think this is if the Raiders are going to win any game in good fashion today, they have to do this. So I have to go Raiders -5.5 at home. That's my pick.
Yeah, it's their home opener as well. And Carolina's traveling out to Vegas. You could put both those things together. All right, here's an over that I really like. I was talking to our good buddy Anthony about this. I like the over in the Bears-Colts game, 43.5. So here's why.
Go ahead.
I like Richardson home on turf. He's a lot faster there. They move the ball a lot better there. I think he'll be able to generate a lot of offense and score. And at the same time, the Colts have one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. I think Caleb Williams is getting himself better each week. I think this is a good game for DeAndre Swift to put some touchdowns. I could see this game being somewhere in the 30 to 24 range. So that 43.5 for me. I like the over 43.5 Bears and Colts.
Okay. Next one for me, and I went back and forth with this, but I really like the Seahawks at -4 against the Dolphins. Again, I think some trends are these East Coast teams going out west. Dolphins are really struggling right now, especially with the whole Tua situation. And Seattle went into New England. It was a tough game to win last week, but I think that you're going to see the Seahawks defense really step it up today. I think that this should be a fairly easy one to win. I think they'll win by 10 plus points. I just don't see Miami going into Seattle and winning. A tough place to play, first of all. And I think Geno Smith should be able to take advantage today, and we'll see what happens. So I like that -4.
And that was my third game was the Seahawks -4.
Can you elaborate on that too?
Yeah, I just think the whole Tua situation, right? Yeah. Skylar Thompson going out to Seattle, going on the road, tough place to play, loud, similar to when we talked earlier in the season about teams going out to Seattle with young quarterbacks. This is not even a young quarterback. This is a backup that really doesn't show too much. And, I really like this Seattle team -4. Plus, Geno Smith figures out a way to score, right? He's been very comfortable in this Seattle offense. He's been doing a lot of really good things. So I like it. That's what, I think -4 is a really good number for them. I'm a little surprised that it's not a little higher with a backup quarterback. Little surprised with some of these numbers. I think maybe because the games were so wild last week, right? We talk about week 1 always being crazy, but last week was totally insane.
So many underdogs. It was crazy.
I think out of the top 5 teams that were in the official ESPN rankings, only the Chiefs won. Everyone else lost.
Yeah.
So it just got a whole different thing. And just think about it: either Pittsburgh or the Chargers are going to be 3-0 today.
Yeah.
No one had 3-0 this early in the year. Nobody.
Okay. Did you have one more, or did I say it? Was that it?
That was it. That was my third one. The Seahawks. Yeah. Did you have another?
The one that I may put, I'm not going to put in ours. We'll use 4. I think that's the easiest, but I want to see if you agree with me.
Yeah.
49ers at Rams, 49ers 1-1. I think that the only thing that scares me I'm leaning towards 49ers, but Kyle Shanahan is, McVay, I think when they match up, he could play him very well. I just feel like after what happened last week against the Vikings, I think the 49ers are going to come back strong. I think they could dominate this game, but I'm too nervous to bet it. But I would just probably my warm pick would be the 49ers over the Rams, maybe like a money line. I think it's a 7-point favorite. It might be something that really breaks even, but I like the 49ers over the Rams. I do.
Yeah, I mean the Rams are really bad right now, and Cooper Cup and Puka and Nakua both being out, it really hurts their offense.
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably a money line parlay, to add them in would I could definitely see taking the Niners despite McCaffrey and Debo
The
being
both
out.
teams have like major injuries, so it's so hard.
But you got to lean a little bit with that Niners defense. I know they even have some injuries on the defensive side, but you got to lean a little bit that way.
Yeah.
The Rams just looked really bad last week against Arizona. Kyler Murray just ate them alive. So, they still got Brandon Ayuk. I know Kittle's out, Debo's out, McCaffrey's out, but you still got Ayuk. You got Mason. You still got Jennings, who had, remember he had the big Super Bowl. The guy can play. And you got Brock Purdy, right? Brock Purdy's been good. I mean, at the end of the day, the guy's, Mr. Irrelevant. They're still trying to figure out ways to, bring the guy down, but he just keeps winning and keeps doing his thing. But like you said, they're home. They had that tough road game in Minnesota. They have a history of not playing well against the Vikings in Minnesota. I would go money line there. That 7-point does definitely scare me.
It does scare me.
Just because of the amount of injuries that the Niners have as well.
Here's one that I want to get your take on because I'm not sure about this one. The Chiefs, and this is tonight's game. Chiefs are 3.5 points at Falcons, right? We know that Kirk Cousins and it's been less than stellar this year. We also know that Kansas City really won by the skin of their teeth last week against the Bengals. I'm not sure. Again, I think some people are really picking the Chiefs to win in a blowout. I really don't know about that, right? The Falcons secondary has been pretty good. And we know Patrick Mahomes, he's done a pretty good job this year so far. The Falcons haven't been able to put pressure on quarterbacks this year as well, which will give him a big advantage. What were your thoughts about that spread in that game?
Yeah, the Chiefs are the kind of team that figured out a way to lose this kind of game, right? They lost to the Colts, I think it was last year. In Indianapolis, this is like that kind of, early season, Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, hey, we're not feeling it kind of game. But at the same time, I think you made a good point. There's not a lot of defensive pressure from the Falcons, right? They won like the weirdest game that you possibly could win last week, right? And to your point about not only did the Chiefs win by the skin of their teeth. Remember week 1 that likely it was a toe away from almost tying that game and maybe losing that game too. So they've played essentially 2 very close games. You always worry about road teams going to the home team, especially at like a dome and all that stuff. But if you took that philosophy last week, you lost every game because it seemed like visiting teams were winning everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the kind of game I probably stay away from.
Yeah. And then my last one for you, just
Yeah.
to go over, and then we'll conclude and we'll summarize everything.
Yeah.
I said the way the Bengals lost last week, which was awful. They're playing the Commanders, and point spread it's been going back between 7.5 and 7. We'll have to see what it looks like before the game tonight.
Is it tonight or is it Monday night they play?
Excuse me, Monday night. I'm sorry, Monday night. Thank you. So
yeah.
We'll see how that point spread changes. Again, 7. I've seen 7. I've seen 7.5. So we know the Commanders have struggled, but Cincinnati, they have a banged up defense, and my heart really says I can't see the Bengals going 0-3, and I look at just the matchup itself and say, you know what, if they're going to get their first win and they're pretty desperate, this is a game to get it. I would probably be a little more conservative and take the Bengals money line. I don't mind if it's at 7, I'll take it. Or probably I could see them winning by a touchdown. But I think it's a good game to bet them money line. I really feel this is a game that they'll win. You agree with that, or you feel like the Commanders will beat that? Well, they're going to put up a fight, but can you see the Commanders being the Bengals?
I like that T. Higgins is coming back this week, right? I think that's big for Chase, big for Burrow. Washington still doesn't have a great defense. They're still rebuilding there.
Yeah.
You can see the way the Giants put 3 touchdowns up on them, last week. I'm more leaning to even give the points.
Okay.
And
we'll
take
put that in. Okay.
Jaden, and you made a good point. Jaden Daniels is still trying to learn how to score in the NFL, right? They're not really putting the ball in the end zone. They kick six field goals. I think they only scored 1 touchdown in their first 2 games or something like that. And Bengals are notorious under Joe Burrow to start slow, and then all of a sudden they have these monster games. So, Chase and Higgins and Burrow, I think, it could definitely slide into a 10 to 14 point win. That 7.5 where you get nervous, right? Is that freaking backdoor cover, right? You're up, 14 points, with 2 minutes to go, and they just drive down and do something stupid. So.
All right. Last question for you, because I'm curious what your thoughts are on this team, and then we'll summarize our picks.
Yeah.
Vinny, are the Saints for real, or too early to tell?
So, very interesting stuff I've been watching about Clint Kubiak, right? He's the offensive coordinator, son of Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan disciple, right? Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan. You could go through the whole thing. So, it's that running play, that sweep that they invented, that zone kind of blocking that Alvin Kamara has been really excelling at. I think that has a lot to do with it. And right now, Derek Carr has been good. That's the most important thing, right? He can have times where he just isn't good. I think the most important thing for the Saints, and they continue to do, is make sure Carr doesn't get hit. He has a tendency of, when he starts getting hit in a game, to get a little jittery and make some throws off his back foot, or just getting rid of the ball before he has to. But they scored 91 points in 2 games. They went into Dallas and slaughtered them, right? I mean, absolutely slaughtered them. I think they scored on their first 15 possessions, right? For 15 consecutive possessions. So whatever. Listen, it's working right now. I know it's only week 2. Philadelphia going down there, their defense didn't look great. They look like they're it's almost like they're in slow motion, Philadelphia, right? It looks like they haven't turned the engine on.
No. They feel like they're still in that slump from last year, how they ended the season.
Yeah. They look, and listen, Barkley catches that ball on Monday night, they win, right? And the game's over. But I think that drop and their lack of pass rush and the way that they're doing things right now, it'll be interesting. They're gonna have to stop Kamara. They could probably play 2 safeties over the top against Carr and force him to throw the ball underneath more. But nothing works if you can't. It'll be interesting to see how good New Orleans defense is, because no matter what, Hurts and Barkley. I know AJ Brown is still out, but you still got Hurts and Barkley and Devontae Smith. They still got guys that can move the ball. It'll be interesting. Is the Saints defense for real? And is Alvin Kamara still going to be like that guy, right? He has that tendency as time goes on to find himself with a pulled hamstring, a sprained ankle. He takes a lot of pounding, but he's in his contract year, Mike. You know how that is.
Yep. A lot of good games today. So let's sum it up here for Vin and Mike's picks. We got Vin's pick, the Steelers we got them at -2.5, by the way. That's what it is.
Okay.
We got the Raiders -5.5. We got the Seahawks -4. And Vinny likes the over 43.5 of Bears Colts. And we'll do that wild card game if we're really cooking with the Bengals -7 or -7.5 on Monday night. So
yeah, maybe if we win, we'll just take all our winnings and just roll it over.
Let's do it. Let's have like a week 1 performance here.
That's it. That's it. All right, a Sunday morning.
I like this. Good seeing you.
Maybe we could do a Sunday morning every week. I don't know. If not, we try Friday nights. We're trying. We're trying out there.
Listen, everybody. We are trying. We have two. We have multiple jobs, and it's been we've been very busy. So this is a big priority, but we'll make it work, and we are making it work.
We're making it work. We're getting there. 111 episodes means it's still working.
That's right. When I tell people that, they're still amazed. Like, how many episodes? And it was like 110, 111. They're just like, wow, that's impressive. So
I remember when we first were doing this, 90% of podcasts don't make
love this stat. You love
once we get to episode 10.
I know.
90%.
Episode 10 is when we had Mr. Dan Hernandez on. We knew after that we could get over the hump.
That's right. Dan took us over. By the way, I forgot to mention I beat you in fantasy last week. Thank you.
Not only beat me, destroyed. He destroyed me.
Well, it started with A-Chain's big game, and that was it.
That was it. You had that. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it happens. I played someone in another league that had Kamara. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
You know who's done nothing for me? Amari Cooper has done nothing. Maybe this will be his breakout game today.
Watson sucks.
Oh my God! But I have to say that this week I have we got Baltimore's defense against Dallas.
All right.
Hopefully Saquon will have a great game against New Orleans. Neighbors with the Giants today, and I'm starting Dak over Stafford. So
yeah, you have to.
I think that's the right move.
That's the right move.
After last week's pitiful performance.
Well, I started off terrible this week. I had Ramondre Stevenson, who gave me 0.3 points just on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So, tough start for me. But I got A-Chain again, of course, and Dobbins. I don't know. We'll see. And then CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans. And maybe Jared Goff can have a bounce back week at Arizona. That's a big game. We didn't even talk about that real quick. Detroit going to Arizona. Everybody was super high on this Lions team who Tampa went up there and really just beat them. And now they're going out to Arizona where Kyler Murray looks like he's reborn.
I know.
This is a huge game for Detroit early in the year.
It is. It is.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go down, especially Vikings are playing well. The Packers are going to get Jordan Love back.
Yeah.
The Bears are. Who knows with the Bears.
What did you say to me that's so true? You don't really. These first couple of games, it's very hard to have kind of a trend until like game 5 or 6, right?
Yeah.
Really
there's no preseason, right? No matter what they say, nobody plays in preseason. So the first 2 games, week 1 and week 2, are essentially like full preseason, like getting your feet under you and all that. That's why I think we have so many like soft tendon injuries, hamstrings, calves, like all that.
Yeah.
Just like guys aren't at full speed, and they're going full speed now, and this is what you get. So I think week 3, and then week 4, and then I think after that is where you start seeing where teams are. But if your team is 0-4 in week 4, you're in trouble. But if you're 2-2, you're okay. 1-3 is a little shaky, but 2-2 is not bad after the first 4 weeks because, like I said, you're still like getting things going and see where things are. So I think nobody wants to go 1-3 or 0-4. At that point. So like I said, I think your Jets are in a good spot. I think they look like their legs were under them on Thursday night, right? Like Rodgers looked very mid-season kind of form. And if they play that way the rest of the year, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, but it's a long season, Mike. A long.
But it's good to see. It's good to see the Jets being competitive. And you saw that thing I put on Instagram? First time since this is insane. First time since 2015 they've had multi wins in September. More than
that's why you got Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
He's there for. So, all right, it's
football
Sunday. Almost game time. So I got to set some lineups and fix some stuff, and we will we'll talk sometime next week.
Yeah.
Sooner or later. All right, Mike. Have a good day.
You too.
Raiders.
Make that money. See ya.